It seems the saga of irrational discourse never lets up. In speaking with a female not so long ago, I was informed by her that apparently I was more attractive when I had not spoken to her for oh so many days or hours or evenings or afternoons or mornings. Yeah, we'll get into that later on. Now, this person proceeded to tell me of how this does not apply to those that are in their family, those that they care for, those that are not of a romantic nature in terms of their interest. And I thought to myself, when one becomes married to another person, that person becomes their family. They form a family. They actively are part of a similar unit. And so, what she's conveying to me is that at this point, as well as with any other male, by showing her interest in actual attention, which I would think any human would want, you would thereby now be regulating me and any person who shows you some amount of time to a second class citizenship in which we are supposedly lesser than your family members or males who don't want to examine the aspect of, well, we'll just sit here and wait and hope. Now, TFL, your comment is low self esteem since they feel they're crap deep down. They want you to treat them that way. I've had success with it. Yeah, based on what she called her own, I mean, to give you an example of the mind frame of the individual we're speaking about, the person admits that they have a vested interest in gaining the attention slash admiration of those whom have admitted to having distaste for them. And I really want one to think of this. You're going to go out of your way to proceed to waste your time on individuals who have nothing good to say about you. Yeah, Mr. Daly, we sniffed that out. Um, really contemplate this. If you actually or are invested in the person, let's say it's not some woman or some opposite sex individual that you're interested in romantically. Let's say it's a friend, a coworker. Why would ignoring them or being away from them be some type of turn on for you? And I actually mentioned because one thing I've really yearned for as time has moved on and we've started to see a sort of shift in the reciprocation of interest where now we're going from, oh, we can't get a date to we can't get an actual long term commitment where people are actually vehemently opposed to having some actual relationship that isn't just, hey, let's go to Denny's for tonight. Um, she had stated after I told her, when you're married to someone, for example, which is what this person has aspirations of doing as well as myself, you have to see them every day. You have to, maybe not every hour, obviously, but they're definitely a constant in your life. I mean, that's what partnerships are. You constantly see that person. And I'll read V's comment in a moment. But I told her that, and she goes, well, maybe every couple of days he can appear and I'll just be at the house and he goes somewhere else. And then, but also kind of think of this, admits that that's not a mindset that is ideal when you want that achievement, but at the same time defends having that mindset. Out tells me afterward, oh, but I don't think it's bad because of such and such. But it is bad because of such and such. You're sitting there telling me that if I pretend you are just a thing that is not of actuality, that you are not there, that is appealing to you. I'm going to read V's comment. He goes, I don't know if V's male or female. You can clarify. Maybe she's one of those types that wants to chase a guy. You basically have to play hard to get. LOL. That's very much what it seems. This person admitted to me that supposedly in not speaking to them for a week, which I didn't do because I was sick of their, all the lip service and drama that was coming out of it. This was apparently my highest point of attraction, or their highest point of being attracted to me, which was very much confusing because the way I've always been is straightforward. If I'm into someone, I'll tell them, hey, I'm into you because of such and such. I'd like to see more of the person. That's the way I am with just pretty much anyone that I am affiliated with. See, a lot of people have this false idea in the back of their heads that they're going to live forever. So they can just say, oh, yeah, what's 3 days? What's 5 days? What's 8 days? Yeah, just let that go by. Nothing matters. We can just pass time and waste time and, have these unneeded 72-hour cooling off periods that don't do anything except extend the continuous, graduous time of us not interacting. That's the backwardsness that I'm referring to here. You know, the problem I have is I constantly am surrounded by what appears to be people who just don't think in the long term. I mean, anytime I go up to these relationships with the intent of speaking for some amount of time, I want to potentially, I go in there and say, hey, if this continues for oh so many days, months, weeks, I want to take this to the next level, which is either an actual relationship that is, not polygamy where it's just the two people to each other, nothing else, or so on and so forth. I think that is, if I have at least one admirable quality, I'm not representing some false narrative. I think I'm very clear on what I want. TFL says this only works if they initially like you. If they're not attracted to you, they'll just ignore you back. Well, that's kind of the thing. This person then shows up after I ignore them, and goes, oh, yes, I hope you are doing well. And then at that point, you think to yourself, well, what am I supposed to do if the person... This is where it doesn't make sense. They basically just told me I need to have an endless pool of disappearing for a week, coming back for a day, then disappearing for another week. So I make 52 appearances every year, which are supposedly at the height of her attraction. If you speak to her 2 days in a row, it's just all over. And it shouldn't be that way. I responded to everything. Yeah, I'm kind of amused here. And, I can kind of get it in a way because back when I was in high school, there was a female that I was very much attracted to. Thought she was beautiful and all the various things in relation to that. And for as much as as very positively as I spoke of her in the immediate years following that, one day I just came and woke up and realized, this person didn't have any dialogues with me. They didn't interact with me. They ignored me. So why should I seek out or crave their attention? They're still sitting on Instagram posting the dog thing on their face and with the little heart sticking up, and they've been doing the same thing for years, and it's gotten them nowhere. But again, if I say something about this person, then I'm the bully who needs to change his ways to appeal to her, when I'm kind of tired of trying to appeal to a person who wasn't reciprocating. Getting 100s of likes. Yeah, man, that stuff, I don't understand the dichotomy of these likes, because they do this thing where when guys in mass show an interest in a female, one that's a celebrity, one that's not a celebrity on social media, it's designed for the intent of showing, see, this is a popular person. This is someone everyone thinks is so good looking. And I kind of moved to this point where even if I think a female is attractive, I just don't say it, because most of it is done with the intent of, okay, well, now she'll think I am, in her corner / a possibility to talk to if something happens. I'm not boosting anyone's confidence anymore. I'm tired of it. Then if you tell them with some of these supposed low self-esteem ones, even if you tell them that you how you feel, as in the case with this one, they will say you're lying to them. You're overrating them. How are you going to tell me what I'm rating? I even gave her a comparison. That's like me walking into McDonald's and I say, you know what? I want a number 5, and then the cashier's like, no, man, number 6 is better. But I want a number 5. No, number 6 is better. I want a number 5. No, number 6 is better. That's what you're doing. You're telling me that the option I supposedly have somehow pales in comparison to this other thing that I'm not even bringing up. You're making a problem when there is no problem. Another thing she said is that supposedly the right one for us both will come around, and that she's not the right one, and all this stuff that is a reversal of what she said in the past. And what I thought was funny is that she's banking her hopes. Yes, I was lost, but now I'm found. I have. Last year, Anyways, she was saying I was banking my hopes on, some. Oh, you messed me up. Uh, we that she's conveying that these people we don't have any proof of actually knowing are going to supposedly just be so much more better than the two of us would be for each other. Which I compare to walking into a restaurant similar to the McDonald's one, saying, "Hey, there's 11 things on the menu. Hey, I want number 10. No, get number 12. Number 12 is not even on there. I mean, you're telling me something is better that I cannot see nor have heard, and apparently you haven't either." And the most disturbing thing is that this person supposedly, has seen my content, and they'll go and watch that and go, "Oh yes, this makes sense," but they won't change any of their ways. It's really more of a venting process for me because it's just being exposed to more and more just bizarre types of behavior from my own perspective, and having that person defend it and say, "Yes, this is okay, this is good." And what I don't understand is how you can go and tell me, "Oh yes, I want to be ignored by you, even if there is a supply." And that's what's strange to me. It's like the person doesn't expect to ever be in a romance. You can't go days and not talk to someone that supposedly is your boyfriend or girlfriend. I've never heard of that. Where people who were with each other just said, "Hey, speak to me. Today's the 1st, speak to me on the 10th. Today's the 10th, speak to me on the 25th." What? I see my mailman more often. Okay, V says, "I'm not gonna lie. You might be too smart for them. It's about having fun, social status. You can rarely have a." Well, that's the thing. Me and her spoke for hours daily for weeks, before she flipped her thing and just started going downhill from there. And I thought very much so that she was of the intellectual brand, and it's as though even if she has a genuine type of knowledge and can actually speak and hold the serious conversations that you spoke of, there's this thing in just her mind where there's a fundamental disconnect of who to focus on and who not to. I mean, I don't, and people keep talking about the games you play to get to attract, the games you play to attract. Yeah, but at what point do the games end? You can tell me that you find it more appealing if a person has their own life, cannot focus on whatever. But we're talking about the actual construct of forming, a relationship where you're going to see the person more often. You can't express this type of issue anywhere else because they will draw the problem 100% on you and assume all these extreme things that you are or might do. Oh yeah, she was calculating all the ways in which this could go wrong, and how I could come over to where she is and find out she's not the person I thought she was, and just all kind of jargon. Very much a cynic. And it's kind of funny, many of the traits I've been accused of, the low confidence, the negativity, self esteem issues, these all appeared very much prevalent in her rhetoric. I apparently had enough self esteem to say, "Okay, well, I'm tired of you telling me I need to ignore you." Yeah, nerd Bama Rich, we're making all kind of relations over here. We don't understand any of this. I mean, it is truly dumbfounding for someone to know that something is not making sense, or is not of any type of particular just way something should be, and then try to explain it to you. "Oh, I don't think it's bad because..." No, don't tell me that. Don't try to. You're not going to change my mind. You're just trying to justify your own actions and your own types of behavior. Imagine if you read on the news that, I have decided to. You go and look on this site or whatever. You read on the news that I went outside, I pulled my pants down, and just took a dump on the sidewalk. And then as they're doing interviews with me, they're saying, "Why would you do this? What caused you to defecate on the sidewalk?" "Oh man, I don't think it's that bad because I don't think it's that bad because I don't think it's that bad because," and they just keep saying and giving all these rationales and excuses and reasons for why things happen. You can justify anything. You truly can. You can say, "I did this because of that. I did this because of that." It doesn't make it right, but you still can try and give your own little rationale or reason that only makes sense to you. And that's what it seems people are more willing to do, as opposed to actually trying to, change things. Here we go with this again. Okay, so I was lost, but now I'm found says, I think it's pretty much impossible to tell whether a girl is playing hard to get or just wants me to F off. Dominique Daly says, women are very fickle. This is why I don't approach them anymore. I just focus on myself, and if they want to pursue something with me, they can step to me first. Yeah, Dominique, I'm telling you, this one and many of the last couple of ones I've described, they've approached me. That's what's bizarre. And this is where the things get, and I'm gonna have to do something in relation to this where I just break down all of these are because people have a thing where they want things to make sense. So they say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have approached her because you knew she wasn't into you. Oh, she's not into you. I don't know why you even bother talking to her." They come up to you and they say they're into you, and so you just assume that they're telling the truth. Why else would they do it? Oh, okay. Rich says women assume that men are supposed to go after them all the time, but they're not giving any clues. I never approached them either. Yeah. Well, both of you have to understand this. I didn't approach this one at all. Came to me. I, began interacting with her regularly, and now it's as though you're just. Do you have a specific type? What comment did he leave that I didn't answer? I'm looking for it. I did answer that. I said I did have one. So I'm not. I don't know what other comment. Maybe you deleted it. I'm not sure. Um. Okay. Rich says you have a specific type of woman that you are attracted to. I would say from the perspective of ideology, one that isn't, so much to the left as a lot of people are in the current era, like, common sense type of things that I feel just on stances or issues. I'm kind of moving to the point where I just will accept what is presented to me and go, okay, well, let me work around this because we're getting to this thing now where people just, even if they appeal to you or you find them attractive and it's over something that isn't necessarily, out of your league in terms of, oh man, they look so great, they could be America's next top model. You acknowledge you yourself aren't on that level, but you like the person because of some aspect of their personality, maybe the way they present themselves. They'll still tell you that you're looking for the wrong one. Uh, yeah, TFL says we have to lower our standards to dirt. And that's kind of the thing. Even if you think people are of high quality, they still do think. Do you like who always drink? No, no. I actually most of the and I actually have had people try to assume that I'm doing some kind of interracial agenda. Most of the females I've approached were my race, were African American. So I don't know where that theory or thought is coming from, but I can assure you it's very much of a false preclusion. And it goes back to why people just need something to make sense. Oh, he can't get anybody because he's going for someone that's, not in his group. If he just goes for someone in his group, then it'll make sense. And this one doesn't even use Snapchat, so it just that entire, that line doesn't apply here. He says, women love attention. They have no problem paying attention with others on the other side. Even if they approach you, their goal might be to just keep you on the side just in case, like a backup plan. Um, I don't know what her end game is because I told her if this is going to be this stream of me saying, okay, what is the point? Um, okay, I was lost but now found. I pursued. Yeah, I've approached. I don't know if it's every race, but it's been at least one person from I think most racial groups, but the overwhelming majority have been my race. So, and I don't believe it's racially motivated or that plays a factor. I think many of the same dumb themes things I think are dumb that have been done by people that I thought were intelligent, are just cross boundaries when it comes to ethnicity. That's just my perspective. Her and this other female who I think was Caucasian both had a similar ideology and they both said one thing and then did the other. This one's just been doing it longer. The other one was kind of, okay, I'll just flip my mind now and now it's stuck this way. And then this one is just, oh, I'll flip my mind, but who knows? I could change my mind anytime. Who knows? Maybe I'll change it tomorrow. Again, change mine like I change shirts. So I'm tired of it. And I am very much. This is the main point to take away from this. Are you still going to do on marriage? Yeah, that's coming up. I just have to pick the time to do it. Because I'm gonna explain where that what the reason for why that is going down, and it's not because people can't find love and people don't like each other anymore. It is due to a to something else, and I'll get into it. It's I think it's a variety of factors. Um, okay, and then it's terrible, Tease. This is my first time being in your list. I appreciate your content. Keep it up. Well, thank you. I appreciate that compliment as well. Um, the one thing to take away from this because and I hate how no one seems to get the purpose of this is so people don't go through the same thing. I don't want to have more males talking to women that don't have any attraction to them, that are just speaking to them just to not be bored. So the thing I feel that needs to, I was strong believe it's much easier to get significant other than definitely that's a well known fact uh, at this point. Um, okay, brought Vulture. We're reaching the conclusion. You can I don't know if you're gonna watch it on the when it's posted, but the topic is this female who told me that supposedly when I didn't say anything to her, that was when I was the most appealing. That I need to, and even if she gets married, she wants a husband that will not speak to her for multiple days. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but that should show you what her mindset is. That if you the more you don't talk to me, the more appealing you are. So I didn't speak to her for a week. So I need to make 52 appearances every year. Just one every Sunday or Monday. And to just be gone. Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of well, Brock Vulture. I feel it's odd. I told her I thought it was odd. She tried to defend it. It reminds me. No, she's had a. That's not the case, V. At least in my opinion, from what I know of her personally, I don't buy that. Um, where's Brock Vulture? I was trying to respond to that. Yeah, this is a more extreme version. I've seen females in the past say this, but typically it's during the process of trying to get attracted to someone. Again, and I was lost. So I think this is a more extreme version of this. Okay, I was lost, but now I'm found. It says us men have to so much to get women to like us. All women have to do is wait for them. We gotta ask her out. Even us always seem to have a significant other. Okay, Nerd Bama Rich says, in my opinion, so has played a big part in boosting who normally don't get attention and make. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the internet was one of the worst things that happened to romances, in my opinion. Brought Vulture, but I've heard that is a trait of an where they seem to be occupied. It's not about being occupied. It's the fact that we're talking. Look, if you're courting someone and you speak to them every couple of days, fine, whatever. She's saying that if she's married, she wants a husband that will disappear for days. When have you ever heard that? What marriage do you know where the husband was just gone? Isn't that the reverse of what a husband's supposed to be? A partner who will, you know, stand in your corner when others won't. I don't know. It seems like every time I see a couple that is married, that is from the older years or the older decades, there's an actual genuine attraction there where they actually want to be around each other as much as possible. And then when I see a lot of these, I don't know, the new generation or whatever you want to call it, there's this thing where they're trying to like stay away from each other while at the same time being into each other. It's like this reversal, and I don't know who started or when it began, but I would think that if you're into someone, you'd want to see them more. Always illogical until they hit a wall. Yeah, well, her wall doesn't seem to be coming up anytime soon. She's still gonna have some guy approach her, and she keeps saying she's turned them down. But you get my point. Um, and I know she gets why this is dumb, because she admitted that. Oh, let me read this. Raw Vulture says, like in terms of occupied, seeks their own dream, and that is not the what makes and males equals. Well, that's kind of my thing. Even if I were to go and do my own stuff for however many days, this person still reached out to me. if I respond to them reaching out to me, I am now suddenly less attractive. What? Think about that. Imagine if you're a guy and you say, "Oh man, this woman, uh, you know, I asked her out and she said yes. Oh, how unattractive. What sense does that make? Really explain yourself. Where does that add up? But again, it's this backwards mentality that gets excused because the people who are doing it don't have to worry about appealing to anyone, doing things that are rational. It's all just the game of let's survive, let's be the worst versions of ourselves, and let's not try to do things that make sense. It makes sense to want someone that is open and honest about, even if it's not myself, which I would have preferred, obviously. But you know, I'm obviously, I'm also biased toward myself. So that life shouldn't be a game of who can I ignore, who can I treat like dirt, who can I, you know, pretend to be into, who can I waste the time of. Every single person that I feel has benefited me for years at this point, between now and then, will be compensated in many ways. Whether that's, financially, or just there you go and you actively, people have showed a vested interest where they want to speak and talk and feel a need to interact, get my attention, and they don't get it because we went days without talking to each other or they ignored me. They get it because they didn't ignore me, because we spoke to each other every other day or every day or very often. Okay, and then okay, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. If Charlie's talking to me, I'm 6'2". I'm just put my stats up at this point. Okay, Brock Vulture said I'm not the best for picking up girls, but though the research, too many of them state things as fact. I had asked a fair amount even talking to these. Urbana says it may sound crazy, but I've gotten the most attention from when I was looking for it and when I wasn't paying attention. Well, that's kind of thing I don't even have to look. It's crazy. I hate when people tell me that you constantly have to buy in order to keep her. I wouldn't constantly ask her to buy me. That's what I don't get. It's all materialistic nonsense. Like, many of the people who are giving you advice on that stuff, you're not looking for the person they're advocating for. And I know people who are not the way they describe. I know that the version of the opposite sex that they're detailing is not the only version of the opposite sex. It's just their idolized stance of what the other gender is. Nerdbama Rich says, but when I'm looking for it, that's when anxiety, I believe, consents, fear, I'm not sure. Well, here's the thing. Just ask yourself, what do you have to lose? Just approach them. Just say, hey, I am, whatever your actual name is, and I'm rich. That's your last name. I'm rich. So, yeah, go on a date with Rich. And even if they say no, then so what? Like, I don't get where we feel this need to just appeal to people who don't take time to appreciate us. I don't get it. And I guess that's why I'm fundamentally just different from her and from some of these other individuals. I don't When I go out during my days, when I come on here, it's designed to speak to people whom actually want to see my content. If I go out during my days, it's to go and see people that actually want to see me. It's not, oh man, Sally, just throw out a random name here. Yeah, she doesn't want to pay me any attention. I hope that she does. If she does, it'll be so attractive slash unattractive when she says something back. I mean, I just don't get this type of mindset. But, maybe I'm in the slim majority of people who like straightforwardness and just want things to be a certain way. And Nerd Dam is cracking up. When I tell guys have been single, I feel better, not great. You always have to and breakup sucks. Yeah, well, I put yourself through that. Um, I just think what the females they're describing you are not the ones you want. Yeah, Manny, I think it is childish. I am surrounded by people who are engaging in many things I would think were only appealing back in, you know, uh, middle school and maybe the first 2 years of high school. After that, this behavior pattern should have gone away. When I just become and go through phases when it happens, I can't from checking me out. Yeah, I'm kind of moving in that same direction of just being tired of this. And again, the problem is that when they come up to you and you say, "Oh man, maybe this can finally be over," the person, why else would they say, "I want to speak with you," and not make it to where you have to go out and actively seek them? And also, this was such a turnoff. Why'd you engage in it? That's what is even more bizarre to me. If it's so gross to just interact with someone daily, why would you interact with someone daily? That's like me telling you, you know what? I very much have distaste, discomfort, and disgust for everyone that litters trash on the floor. Then you go in my house and I have trash all over the floor and on the we call it the ground right outside the house and going up and down the street. It wouldn't make sense. It's the antithesis of what I'm advocating for. And if I call someone a hypocrite, they say, "Are you exactly a little?" No, I'm exactly 6'2". Ask a question, I answer it, and then there's some alteration. If I was shorter than that, why would I say that height? I mean, I don't know if I have to show you, some kind of legal documentation to prove what I say I am. Pure lust. She's living in the moment while others want along. Oh yeah, that's another. Again, when I do that marriage rates one and why that's gone down, we'll go into all of that because so many stories that have not been discussed are going to appear. Um, there's a really serious lack of commitment on the part of both genders in the current era that is scary to me. When we've seen that more often than not, having only one parent or no parents is worse for you, and then people make it to where you only have one regularly. That's a disturbing sight. Um, but yeah, I hope that we've gotten somewhere out of this. Next time you talk to some female that says, "I only like it when you speak to me every 10 days or however many days," just cut her off. I'm done with trying to appeal to them and make them feel good because you might think to yourself, maybe I can change her. Maybe I can make her feel differently. She's going to stay that way. She's going to stay that way. She's going to stay thinking that. She's going to stay that way because there's no one advocating for her to change that is of any authority slash vested interest in seeing her change. We live in a society where, for the most part, females can get away with any type of behavior because they'll get approached. And a guy that just has everything else going on for them that has trouble with this will be told he needs to completely switch who he is and adapt to this and reverse that. Uh, who are feel better? Yeah. So I think I've stated my piece. I'll have something else up. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. I am amused and at the same time annoyed by the idea. Imagine if you came in my stream and I said, "Hey, let me just talk about this and ignore every single person that's commenting," and then I have my hand scrolling on the screen and checking out the comments. And I see the stuff, but I just ignore it. Let's go, nope, no. Yeah, let's keep talking about the topic. Forget the comments, forget everyone in. You would find that appealing. That would turn you on. You would go, "Oh man, I love it when he ignores me. I hope he ignores me. I can't wait until he ignores me." And they do this thing where they think, "Oh, you're obsessed if you talk about him a couple." No, my obsession is how insane what you're saying is. What you said makes you less attractive to me, which makes me want to be less interested in you, which theoretically would make you less, you get within your own, within my own group. Yeah. I think it's just because there's more of them than there are of the others that have, around me. I don't always delete anything. I haven't removed any content. Anyway, so I'll have something else up in the in the either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. See you.